She's just a girl and she's on fire. Hotter than a fantasy, lonely like a highway. She's living in a world and it's on fire.
Hello and welcome to Wildly Basic. I'm Denise McLeod.
And I'm Whitney Hunt.
And today we have a special guest in our studio. We have Jamie Kinnison. And Jamie's going to talk today about her journey to being healthy and helping others to become healthy. Hi, Jamie.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's nice to finally be on your show. I've listened to it. I'm a fan. And, so I'm finally here.
Thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies.
It's going to be good.
So you have a
Okay.
story about issues that you've had in your past, and you want to talk about a little bit about what you're going to be doing in the future and how you're helping people get healthy.
Yes. I am 42 years old, and I just believe in transparency in life, and I have had a pretty rough journey with health, and I would love to share with the world now what has happened with me. I'm coming from a genetic history from like my parents having a bad genetic health issues. My sister passed away in 2012 from having some issues. My father, when he was 38, he had a pretty bad heart attack. He's still with us, thank God. But all along I always thought, well, if I can make it past 38 without having a heart attack, that would be awesome.
That would be
Right,
awesome.
yeah.
And then my mother, when she, in 2001, she had a stroke, and she's doing awesome. She golfs with one arm. I mean, she's doing fabulous. But she had that stroke, I think she was around the age of 50. So I kept on thinking, my future looks kind of grim, because, of the outlook of my family history and family genetic, outlook. So 38 came around for me, and sure enough, I had a heart attack at 38 years old.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Was it a
is.
mild heart attack or kind of a more massive heart attack?
It was mild. It's and that's the thing. A lot of people, discuss about how women, handle heart attacks differently. It comes on differently in women than it does men. I've been doing a lot of research. It does come on differently with men and women. But mine, it was very strange. I was sitting at work, and I just thought, wow, this feels weird. My head feels heavy, and my shoulders feel heavy, and it wasn't like my chest hurt. It wasn't like,
You didn't have the tingling in your arm?
No, it was just a heaviness.
Okay.
It was just very strange. So I got home, and my wife was like, you don't look right. I just was sitting there with my head hung down, and she drove me to the hospital, and they did an EKG, and they couldn't find anything on that. And I thought, well, that's weird. Maybe I'm having just a panic attack or something like that. And then they did some blood work, and my enzymes were elevated, and then they rushed me down the very next morning to Detroit, and that's where they did a heart cath, and they found that I was blocked at 97%. And if I would have waited another day, I would have not been here.
Oh, my God.
And how old
Yeah.
were you?
I was 38.
That is
38.
crazy. Now, I just read something not too long ago that said more and more people in their 40s, their late 30s and 40s, are starting to have heart attacks.
Mhm.
And that's scary because you're like, if you're that age, your doctor really doesn't want you to, they don't tell you, oh, you have to do tests in your 30s and 40s.
Right.
Where I think they should. They should. With
Yeah.
colonoscopies and heart disease, they should be screening.
For sure, especially if
sooner.
it's a family trait.
Yes. Well, anybody. I think
Oh, yeah.
Todd from the Killer Flamingos had a bypass. I think he's in his mid-40s.
Right.
Right? So
It's just becoming younger and younger. And that's the primary reason, too, why I decided to write a book about these issues and about, our eating habits. And and we all believe in the American diet, and the American diet is not the way to go. We're just so programmed in
So-
our society. But anyways, so back to that.
You were overweight when you had your heart attack.
I was overweight. So I had my heart attack and I went on a ton of medication. I went from being on maybe 2 blood pressure medications to 12, and that was a hard adjustment to make. Because your body just does not want to be on those meds. And once I was adjusted, that was fine. And then after that, I lost 40 pounds because I was very scared. I was like, wow, and plus my cardiologist was, definitely wanting me to lose the weight. So this would not happen again.
Did
So
they
I-
think that your weight was causing part of that problem, or did they just think it was a genetic type?
It's half. He said it was half and half, genetic and weight. The weight does not help out. In my research and in my studies lately, I've read that genetics. A lot of people base things on genetics, and genetics. It's only like 30% markup, and not markup, but it's
Makeup.
A makeup,
Yeah.
It's the 30% makeup of who you are, and you actually have a lot more control of it than you think you do, just by the way of how your DNA is made up, and the foods that you can, further your process along to make that 30% go even lower. So it's pretty amazing. Just once you stop and you read what genetics are made up of and how it affects you. So, but all along it was, I kept on thinking, I have my dad's genetics, I'm going to have a heart attack at the age of 38, and then I did. So it was more of a mental thing, I think. Plus, being overweight just did not help my situation out at all.
Well, it depends on your cholesterol and your the thickness in your blood, and if how the plaque forms on your arteries
Right,
too.
right.
So that's probably the genetic part. And then being overweight is not going to help.
Not really. That's, the cholesterol in your system. I mean, you do have a lot more control over that than you think you do. And I think that our society makes us think that genetics are, like what you just said, you think that the cholesterol is from my genetic making, and it's not.
Okay, it's not.
That's something that your body keeps on regenerating and reforming. And I'm not a doctor. That's why, I wanted to put out this book so bad, because I'm just the average person. Just
By the way,
learning.
she's writing a book. She's currently writing a book
Yes.
on food and the American diet and how
Yes.
bad it is for you.
Yes.
But we can go into that
we
later
will.
if you want to continue.
Yes, so that was 38. I got past that. I lost 40 pounds, and then I gained it right back. And then just a couple of years ago, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. And a couple of years ago, I was 40 years old. So 2 years after my heart attack, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. And fortunately, I did not have to have any chemotherapy or anything like that. But I did have to have a bowel resection, and the way that it was found, I mean, I can go into it, but that we would have to have a 3-hour show
Right.
as far as how that was found. But
Basically, you had a hysterectomy, and
they found
while
it.
they were in there, they did a colonoscopy, and they found
Right.
a polyp that had a little bit of cancer in it,
yes,
right?
but
Okay.
thank God for I had endometriosis, which caused the pain, and that actually caused the pushing up against that polyp. So thank God I did have the endometriosis. That was very painful, because if I didn't have that, then I wouldn't have had to do those 3 colonoscopies.
That's
for them
why.
to find
Right.
it.
Yeah, that's why I say you should be getting colonoscopies in your 40s,
Yes.
early
Right.
40s.
Yes. I've had friends that are my age. I can count, a ton of them that have passed away for situations like this. And it's just way too young. And I truly, truly believe, after all of my research and reading and listening to my audiobooks, that it's that it has to do with what we eat, what our American, food is. So
So give us a breakdown of the American food. Like, what does that consist of?
okay, so when you think American food, what do you think of?
Fast food, burgers.
Burgers and fries, and I know people think pizzas.
Pizza, subs, fries,
Hot dogs,
So
anything that's
yes. So what is in that food?
grease. A lot
Okay.
of grease.
fried food and
fried.
Right.
There's
fat.
a lot.
Yeah,
of,
a lot of-
There's a lot of carbs.
And
Oh,
carbs.
carbs,
Yeah.
the bread,
Yep.
the buns. Yeah.
And you know, I have done a lot of research, and I guess you could say I'm more so on a keto diet right now. But a lot of people think that the ketosis, the keto diet, is wrong and it's bad. It's not. It's our American way of thinking of food. We think, oh, low fat, because 10, 20 years ago, American marketing put out ads about how everything should be low fat, and that's completely the opposite of the case. You should be eating good fats, because good fats will actually get rid of the bad carbs, and then that's how you can stay
And wasn't
healthy.
that
Right.
something that your own cardiologist said to you?
He did. Yep. My cardiologist and my
Dr. Balin is your
Dr. Balin. Yeah, he is awesome.
from
I love that
DMC
guy. Yep,
is your
DMC.
cardiologist.
Yep. Great guy. I've learned so much off of him.
Can you explain a little bit about the
Yes.
fats, the good fats? Because most people think, oh, there's fat in it, I don't want to eat it, or So
Yeah.
can you explain a little bit of that?
Yeah, so there's the saturated fats. There's what are the trans? There's actually the trans fats. They call them Frankenfats, which I think it's hilarious because it just sounds like Frankenstein. And if you think of Frankenstein, he's a monster, and that's the monster in your system. So the bad fats. I mean, there's bad grease. There's canola oil. That is just horrible for your system.
Vegetable oil.
Vegetable oil is horrible, and people think, oh, well, I'm eating a vegetable. Well, you're
No,
not.
no, it's
No.
not the same.
It's the bad part of the vegetable.
What about coconut oil?
Coconut oil is actually pretty good for you. Coconut oil has, it's called MCT in it, and it's, I'm trying to think of the name, it's triglycerides, and those are actually, it's a healthy oil that bypasses parts in your system and goes straight to your liver, and it actually helps with your metabolism. It really helps you out to burn the bad fats and the bad carbs. So yes, coconut oil is a wonderful thing. But and I'm not a doctor. I'm not, I don't claim to know everything at all. But
Wait,
yeah.
how did you learn all this stuff though? So
Okay.
you had a heart attack, you had cancer.
Okay.
And then how did you? So you had to learn about this stuff.
I had to
survive.
I had to learn about this stuff, and my best friend, her name is Stacy. In 2015 or 2016, I'm sure she'll correct me on this, but she had the gastric sleeve done, and at that point, I thought that's a cop out. You're having surgery to lose weight. Why would you do that to your body? Anytime someone cuts you open, a surgeon cuts you open, that's just more stress on your body down the road.
Oh, for sure.
And so I'm like, I'm not going to have that done. She's like, but you need to do it. And then watching her weight loss and watching her health and her actually being able to jog on a treadmill was just phenomenal. And so all along I was like, no, it's a cop-out. I can do this on my own. Well, I kept on losing 40 pounds, gaining 40 and 50 pounds back.
How tall
losing
are
40
you?
pounds. I'm 5 feet tall.
Okay, so you're short.
I am a shorty.
makes it difficult.
It does make it very difficult. So finally I talked to my cardiologist and I said, the heart attack was a scare enough. The colon cancer was my other scare. How many more scares do I need before I actually can take care of myself? And he said, I have this awesome doctor, and Dr. Weiner, he no longer is with us. He moved to Arizona.
Well, you can still
Oh,
contact him
definitely.
from Michigan.
He's a wonderful doctor. And then I called my friend and said, my cardiologist said, this Dr. Weiner. And she's like, well, that's the doctor that did my surgery. And so I did it. I had that surgery in December of 2018. And from then until now, I lost about 70 pounds. And from then until now, I just did a lot of research because, it's just a tool, okay? People think it's a cop-out, you're having surgery, you're losing the weight from the surgery, and it's actually a lot more hard work than people think it is. So I kept on hearing the word tool, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it is a tool. When they do the sleeve,
Explain what it is.
okay, so what they do is and people think, well, do they wrap a sleeve around your stomach, and how does that work? And it's not that. Basically, when they're doing the surgery, they put a tube down your throat into your stomach, and then they poke I have about 5 holes, like laparoscopic holes in your stomach, and then they use a device that cuts out your stomach, so you only have like 15% of your stomach left.
So you're not actually getting like a sleeve or
No.
something put on. It's actually cutting out part of your
So
stomach and
it's
coming
cutting
out.
out lengthwise, but not
Yeah. So
right
it's-
widthwise. Just yeah.
Yes. And the reason why they call it a sleeve is because it kind of looks like your stomach actually looks more like a tube now, as compared to a tube with like this fatty compartment.
So it's kind of like your
attached to
stomach's
it.
like this.
Correct.
And now it's more.
Yeah.
it's much more
Lengthwise,
smaller.
It's long still, but
Yes.
thin.
Yes. So the result from that is, an average human stomach can consume about 40 ounces of food, whereas mine, I can only take in per serving or per meal 4 ounces of food.
That's a big
So
change.
It is a big change.
So you have to
and
eat several meals a day then.
I do. I eat possibly about 5 to 6 meals per day, small portion sizes. And
and you can survive doing that.
you can. And at first, your mindset is like, heck no, this is crazy. I can't. And I cannot drink pop soda. And I don't think anyone should be drinking soda. To me, it's just...
You're wasting your sleeve.
Well, you're wasting your sleeve. Plus, anyone who hasn't had the surgery, what soda does is it stretches out your stomach, and it's not just soda per se. It's the carbonation of it. Soda just adds sugar to it, and it's just
So what about like carbonated waters or?
I would stay away from that because
So it
anything-
expands your stomach so
Yep.
you can eat more.
so you can eat more, and it's just a horrible. And then your mind is thinking, oh gosh, at this time of day I need my soda, and it's just a horrible circle. That it's a vicious circle. So, and I also learned that everyone on their stomach, that your stomach lining has a hormone called ghrelin on it, and what it does is it triggers your brain to want starchy foods, to want carbs. And it works together with, I think it's called lipin, and then also cortisol. So every day, we all work on a regimen every single day. You wake up, you have your breakfast, you have your lunch, you have your dinner, and then what do you have during that time? You have starchy foods. You have, the average American diet has that.
Toast,
Right? Toast. I must
a
have my
burger,
toast.
bread.
So what happens is if you wake up the next morning and you say, I'm going to try not to eat, bread. I'm not going to eat this at this time. Well, that ghrelin sends that message to your brain saying, well, at this time yesterday you had it, so you need to have this. So it feeds your brain to think, I have to have this.
It's an addiction.
Yes, it's a total, and I am an addict of food. I will always be an addict of food. It's a constant struggle. It's not easy. Even though I did have this surgery, it's just a tool, and your stomach will grow out a little bit, whether or not you like it. 2-3 years from now, it could possibly grow out to be the same size as it was, but it's up to me to actually follow through. I need to do to live
Change
the
your
most-
lifestyle.
Right.
Correct.
And when you had the surgery, they put you on a very strict diet.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
you can't just go out and eat a little portion of burger,
No,
like
you-
what did they give you?
Okay. So, prior to the surgery, you are supposed to just be on a liquid diet. A lot of this is to train your mind for after the surgery because you want your stomach to adapt. Basically, you're adapting to new foods. It's like you're a baby all over again. You're starting off on liquid diets, and then you slowly go to so liquid would be chicken broth, things like that, and then you get to more of a solid diet. So you transfer from that to pudding, to things that are more heavier, and then finally to chicken, to wet foods basically. And I'm still more comfortable with wet foods than I am other foods. It's a painful. It almost feels like if you eat a Dorito or
So
a
what's
chip
wet foods?
and it goes down bad, and that's how it feels. It hurts.
What is wet foods? Like
Eggs,
Soft food, you mean?
Soft foods,
Yeah.
eggs. I love chicken thighs. I mean, it's a more greasy,
softer
but
meat.
Softer meat. It's not like eating a steak,
Right.
Yeah.
where it's more gritty and it goes down much harder. And So yeah, that's the change in diet. And a lot of people like at my job think, oh my God, they kind of look at what I eat, and they're like, what's she eating today, guys? What's, and it kind of makes you feel bad at first, but then you think, I'm eating what's most healthy for my body.
And how many pounds have you lost?
I'm at almost 70 pounds right now, and
70
it's been
pounds.
6 months.
And how many?
Nice.
And do you still have to take all the drugs?
Oh, so what happened in February, so my surgery was December 19th, 2018, and just 2 months later, I thought I was having another heart attack, and I thought, oh great, we're going through this again. I woke my wife up at like 2 in the morning, and she's like, okay, let's go to the hospital yet again. I get there and they're like, no, you're not having a heart attack. You are overdosing from your medication.
From your
Oh
blood
my
pressure
God.
medicine.
From my blood pressure medication, and I was removed off of about 11 pills at that time down to just 1 right now.
That's amazing.
Yes. Yeah, that alone is enough for anyone to have this surgery or just think of a weight loss or a weight change in lifestyle.
And how did
Sure.
that change you? Like, you lost the weight, so how did that change you physically? Like, how did you feel after you've lost this weight?
Oh, gosh. At work we have 2 flights of stairs. I work in a pretty large corporate building, and I can jog up those stairs now. Whereas before, after walking up 5 of them, I was out of breath.
Wow.
I would take the elevator.
So you have more energy.
Yes, and it's amazing the things that you can do. I can tie my shoes. And people think, well, I tie my shoes every day.
Right,
Well,
yeah, that's nothing.
to bend over and actually be out of breath, to tie one shoelace is just the most horrible feeling. I feel bad for people that actually went through, or that are going through right now what I had to go through. It's just the little things that,
And then the other bad thing about being heavy is that the way people treat you,
Oh, yeah.
the way they look at you, they think, stop eating,
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like,
Well,
So that probably changed, obviously.
It changed a lot, and I'm still not at my optimum, amount that I want to be at for my weight loss. I still have about 50 more pounds to go.
Right.
But it is amazing how people do treat you different.
And what people
It's-
don't
Right.
understand, and they're so easy to judge you and call you names, and so what they don't understand is some people can't lose the weight because they have genetic issues, right? Or they have health issues that won't let them exercise.
Right, but do you think that some people use that excuse way too much? Just because, well, I'm fat, it's a genetic, too bad I can't do anything about it?
I can say yes and no to that. I think saying that it's an excuse, I use that excuse. Oh, I'm fat anyways. Heck, I'm going to go to Taco Bell, and I'm just going to go and have myself
Well,
a
that's what
feast.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
What I
You
was
know.
going to say is the American diet is so bad. It's so hideous. Okay, kids growing up today that are heavy, you can see them being obese already.
Oh, yeah.
They don't realize. No one's
Right.
telling them that every time they go to McDonald's, they're eating how many carbs in the bun that they're eating, how
Oh,
many
yeah.
carbs in the
It's-
fries.
Right.
It's horrible, and from the research I've read, bread is dead. Okay, anything white is just horrible for you. Stick to the farm. Stick. A lot of people say, well, you basically are on this keto diet. It's just wrong, for you not to eat carbs. How my coworkers say that to me. How can you not eat? How can you have a McDonald's hamburger without a bun? That's just not,
So
that's
yes,
not right.
you can eat. So wait a minute, we're gonna back up. So you can right now, since
Oh,
you're
yeah.
past your surgery.
Yes,
You
yeah.
can go to McDonald's, order
Oh.
a quarter pounder without bun
Yeah.
at all,
Yeah.
and eat it.
Mhm.
So you still get your fix for. I'm gonna say fix because you say you have an addiction. But you still can eat your hamburger.
Yes.
You just can't eat the bun.
It's a more healthy choice.
You can't eat the French fries.
Yes.
Right.
It's more healthy choices. And what people don't realize is, even that alone, okay, yes, I can have that without the bun. And people are probably wondering, well, how come you can't have bread? Well, after you have the surgery, when you have bread, when you eat it, it expands even more in your stomach.
And it does for us too.
mixing with the acids. And so if I only have 4 ounces of a stomach, it can make me sick. So that's why but even if I didn't have this surgery, and if I had this weight loss, I would not choose to eat bread. Or anything that has more than 5 nutrients to create it, or nutritional, value to create something. And because anything past 5 to me is it's chemicals. You're placing chemicals in your system, and it's
Right.
just horrible.
So, okay, so you had all the health problems. You went
Yes.
through, you got the sleeve.
yes.
You learned about nutrition,
Mhm.
and you've listened to people on the radio, and out of all of that, you have decided just you're going to write a book.
Yes, yes. My book. I'm also going to be creating a show with Media Network here.
Yay!
But the book title I decided is going to be called The Best Kept Promise, because I never kept the promise to myself until I had to, and the reason why I say I had to is because of my my health scares. Well, if I can touch just one person on this earth that that wants to lose the weight, that wants to have a lifestyle change, that wants to feel good and live their best life, if I can help them keep their promise to themselves, then then I'm good. I'm good to go. It just because I don't want someone to have to go through what I went through to actually, know what to do to live your best lifestyle.
Right.
So I want, that's why I am creating my book, and it will include recipes. It will include items that you can make that I call it the food flipper, because I want to flip food so that people enjoy eating what
so
they're
you've been
eating.
working on recipes
Yes.
where you can take food
Yeah.
like
Oh.
like I don't know what.
Well, like
Say the cheesecake.
oh, okay.
Cheesecake,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
You made a cheesecake with,
Yeah.
was it no sugar? or
Yep,
so-
no sugar. Well, there are different sugars that you can
Natural sugar.
natural sugars that you can purchase. There's one, it's called Swerve, that is just phenomenal.
And it even has brown sugar. You can order
You
brown
can-
sugar, powdered
yes.
sugar, and regular granule sugar.
Oh, yeah.
And it's natural.
It's phenomenal. And so you mix that together with sugar-free pudding and then, cream cheese. And you can make it. The problem is, people don't want, or they say they don't have time to prepare. And it is hard. I'm not going to lie about that. It's hard to say, okay, Sunday's my prep day. I'm going to prep my food for the whole week long and stick with that. And that's the hardest part. But that, if that's the promise you have to keep to yourself, then you'll feel good, in the long run.
Right.
So your new show that you're going to do, you're going to touch on all these subjects. You're
Oh,
going to
definitely.
touch on your health.
Mhm.
You're going to touch on the sleeve that you got, the recipes, how you got the recipes, how people can become healthy,
Right.
eating more natural foods, and you can talk about your 555.
Yes. I came up with this. My wife and I were at the store, and I've been helping her out with weight loss as well, and other people that I work with too. But I came up with this thing called the 555 or 555 rule, where when we were at the store, my wife brings a package of donuts to me and says, "Do you think I can eat these? Are these healthy?" And jokingly,
No. It was not donuts.
well,
It was something that was
Well-
in the healthy aisle,
right.
and I'm like, okay, this is good, right? 'Cause it's from the healthy aisle. And what'd you do?
I slapped it out of your hand like a NBA player.
She did. She
Like a
slam
basketball.
dunked
Nope.
I slam dunked that so
like, down the
quickly.
hallway of the
Yes,
grocery store and
and-
said, "Bad, bad food."
Well, in 555, so basically, we as a society, we have to learn that, and we're in such a quick-paced society that we want to do things so fast, and we just want everything so quickly that we don't take the time to actually read the back of a package and say, oh, okay, so this should only have possibly between 5 to 10 carbs in it. 5 is like a baseline, right? This should only have between 5 to 10 grams of sugar in it, and this should only have maybe 5 not nutrients,
Proteins?
but ingredients. This should only have like 5 ingredients, because anything past that, it's just chemicals you're placing in your body. So if you just have it in your mind to think, okay, when I compare this pita bread to this pita bread over here, what makes this one good? Well, the front of the packaging says that it's organic, and it's
That's
this,
what she knocks out of my
and
hand.
It's that.
No.
It says it's organic. This is great.
Doesn't mean it's good.
Got to read the label.
And like I said, we're in America, where marketing is number one. It's top-notch marketing in America. So yeah, the packaging looks phenomenal. The colors are great on it. It says organic.
The way we're
It says it's
eating
healthy.
is an epidemic.
It is.
But it is an epidemic.
It is an epidemic. So if we don't train ourselves to flip over that package and look past the marketing ploys and flip over that package and say, okay, does this have this amount of carbs? Does this have this amount of whatever?
Okay,
and
so
sugars?
Right.
Yeah.
So you went through your thing,
Yes.
right? Then I had to learn. Yes, you are my wife. I'm going to say that because I feel like I need to say this.
Hey, Gay Pride Month. Yes.
Yay!
There you go.
But I feel like I have to say this. Okay,
Yes.
so you went through your thing, and by the time you got done with all your health issues, now I'm went through menopause and I was overweight.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, okay, you're doing this diet, so you kind of forced me to go into your diet too.
It wasn't forced.
It was okay. It wasn't really forced, but so I've lost 10 pounds. Okay, and I'm gonna lose more, and I find that the diet is not that difficult to follow.
And don't call it a diet.
And
Your
okay,
this
eating
lifestyle.
healthy.
This
The lifestyle is not that difficult
Yes.
for me. See, I like to eat sugar. I'm
Oh,
a
yeah.
sugar fiend. Okay?
Yeah.
And so I've been actually, with the help of you and your knowledge about recipes and stuff, I have been creating my own recipes and creating cookies, brownies, and I can eat these things after my dinner like I like to.
Mm-hmm.
And the only difference at McDonald's and Wendy's and all that stuff is I don't eat the fries, okay, and
Mm-hmm.
I eat half the bun.
But do you miss
Right.
it?
I don't miss
Well-
I don't miss the French fries or nothing.
You know,
anything.
here's the thing: is there have been several times where we've gotten something, and you'll be like, "I can taste the chemicals in this now."
Yeah.
Before you couldn't.
She really can.
And-
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that like a
Like
big
especially
thing that
Mountain
you really
Dew.
do?
Yeah.
Well,
Notice.
your taste buds change. I mean, I forget. I think it's like 8 weeks of a change for something to create a habit. So after the 8 weeks, of not having something, I haven't had granulated sugar in 7 months.
Yeah.
So for me to have sugar, and I've tried it. I've tried an M&M, and I'm like, this thing is disgusting.
Yeah.
My first thought is, oh, I love the crunchiness of it, and the peanut M&Ms, and that comes back to me like, oh, I kind of miss that. But after you swallow it and then you have that taste in your mouth, it's not the same. It's chemicals.
So we don't realize this.
We don't realize this.
So we're given, and, kids
But-
don't realize this.
Right. But like I said, it takes about eight weeks for a habit to fruition.
Change, yeah.
Yes. And after that 8 weeks, you don't miss it. You don't miss eating a bun on a hamburger. You don't miss these things. And I think that's what people need to recognize. And that's what I'll be placing in my book is, I don't have to have a whole bag of chips to be satisfied. I can taste one chip because I have that taste.
Oh yeah, that's what you taught me.
Yes.
I'm like, I gotta have sugar, and she's like,
Well, have
take
it.
these M&Ms, take
Yes.
4 M&Ms,
Yeah.
put 2 in your mouth, chew them as long as you can to get that taste in your mouth, and your brain will go, oh, I got what I
Yes.
need.
You're feeling
and move
yeah.
on, and you've only had 4 grams of sugar.
And you're feeding
Nice.
that ghrelin, or as I like to call it, the gremlin, that ghrelin hormone on your stomach. And,
So this
and
diet can be done.
Well, yes.
I mean, it
this
can.
lifestyle
I'm sorry,
Lifestyle.
this lifestyle change can be.
Well,
it's easy. Like
way-
I
yeah.
even taught Whitney. We went to
Yeah.
Gordon Foods, and I'm like, I need yogurt, And so what was I doing? I was looking
You
at
were
labels,
looking at everything.
at Pringle labels and labels, and
Yeah, because I try to stay on a healthy kick. I work out and try to eat healthy.
Yeah.
There was a program I downloaded. It broke down my macros, of what
Okay.
proteins, fats, and calories I should take in.
MyFitnessPal.
And no, V-Shred.
Okay, never heard of
Yeah,
it.
I'll
Sweet.
have to show it to you later.
Okay.
And what she was telling me was almost like the complete opposite.
it was the opposite of what your plan was telling you. Well, you know what? Jamie's had discussions about what is it, the AMA or the FDA pages, and how the FDA was like they had carbs or something is number 1.
Oh, what do you mean? Like,
Like how how in the United States we have like a guide from the FDA.
oh, okay. So yeah, you're talking about the pyramid.
Yes,
the
the
food
pyramid.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you look at the food pyramid, the very bottom level, I don't have one in front of me, but it breaks down and says, okay, you should have this amount of starch a day. You should have this amount of protein, this amount of sugar, and I don't think sugar's on there, but you should have this amount and
Dairy.
dairy and
Right.
and
Protein.
it's completely. I hate to say it's completely false, but I don't think
It's not
the
reliable.
It's not the most healthy option for you as
Right.
an American.
Right.
You know, you go to other countries, and you go to Europe, let's just say, and you order a meal in Europe, and it's like a quarter of the amount of size that you have when you order a food item here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
We know this too.
yes, you go to Europe, and actually there are grocery stores that right when you walk into the grocery store, you can put your money in this big machine, and it'll make you fresh bread from natural ingredients that are from that location.
Oh, you showed me that. yeah.
Wow.
Yes,
That's
and then
awesome.
by the time you're done grocery shopping, you go over to that food machine, get your bread, you're good to go. I'm not saying not to eat bread. A lot of people say, oh, keto's bad, whatever. I'm not saying not to eat these items. I'm just saying
It's when you
keep it
combine the
natural.
bread with the sugar, because
Yes.
Right.
bread
Yeah.
makes sugar.
Yes.
And then if you have sugar on top of it, now what? You're going to get fat.
Yeah, it just your body will not process it the way that it should, and that's why I say, okay, eat the healthy fats. You know, eat good protein and healthy fats, and
Lots of protein.
yes,
Mhm.
and your metabolic rate will completely change.
And you'll talk about this more when you do your new show.
I will. There's so
By
much,
topic by topic.
Right. There's so much more to discuss, and you know, and I like I keep on saying, I've done my research. I have my people that I follow, and I'm just going to read it. You know, just a little bit of that. But
Okay.
Michael Greger. This is an awesome book. It's called How Not to Die. I love the title because it's just it's hilarious. I mean,
We
it's
all
not
want that,
hilarious, but
right?
you know, but yeah, we don't want to die, and he breaks down what in one case he talks about how like 9/11 happened, okay, and we freaked out because
3,000 people died.
3,000 people died, but we're not freaking out when 3,000 people die a day from heart disease.
Right.
That
Which
alone,
is an epidemic.
It is a huge epidemic. So why aren't we freaking out? Well, we're not freaking out
Because they're not advertising it.
they're not advertising. It's not on CNN. It's not on the news all day long about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think they're saying, well, you know, they're probably overweight. Well,
It's your fault.
that's why. Yeah.
Right.
Your fault.
And in my case, I can say, you know, yes, I was overweight, okay, and I still am overweight. But, you know, I had working against me, I had my thyroid also, you know. So, you know, when you see someone that's overweight, our society just thinks, well, you know,
They could have a bad back.
right.
They could have hurt
But,
their knee.
but our
They could have-
society just thinks they're
they don't
fat.
care. You're a fat
Right.
pig.
Exactly. They don't
That's
look
it.
beyond
You're
that.
a pig.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
can't stop eating.
Right.
Really.
You don't look beyond
Really?
that. And I think the same thing goes for, you know, addiction to heroin. You know, someone could have gotten in a bad car accident, and then, you know, the medication they're taking for, you know,
And doctors knew. I
You
mean,
know,
the companies knew.
it's the same thing.
That
Oh,
you
yeah.
were going to get addicted to that stuff.
right.
Come on.
So, but yeah, so that's one book that you know, How Not to Die. It's just phenomenal. Dr. Aman, I'm not sure exactly. It's spelled
think
A-M-E-N.
it's
but
Aman.
Aman. How to Use Your Brain to Change Your Age.
But I've seen him. Yeah.
And he's the one where I've
Very interesting stuff.
He is, and I've absorbed a lot of knowledge from
Different
him
brain
about
patterns.
DNA and how
Yeah.
that all works. Mel Robbins, the 5-second rule, she is just phenomenal. And she basically talks about how to trick your brain. So if you count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, by the time you get to 1, and then you just do something. So basically, I'm going to avoid going to Taco Bell as a food addict. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, great, I just passed Taco Bell. I tricked my brain to think that I'm not going to do that. And what it does is it tricks your prefrontal cortex of your brain to not do that. So basically you're taking one habit and you're replacing it with another good, healthy habit. And then Brene Brown, she's also awesome. You know, she's a great person as well, just like Mel Robbins. But anyways, those are my
Great
you know,
motivational
great,
speakers.
yes, and you need that. You need that.
You need support.
Yes.
So
From
kind
your
of
family
running
and-
off that support, you know, what do you think about accountability? Do you think it helps to have somebody
Oh, yeah.
that's doing it with you, or you know, just keeping
Oh,
you accountable
definitely.
for what you need to do?
Yes. That, you know, I have accountability every single day to myself, okay? You definitely, you need to surround yourself with people that will support you, okay? And if there's not people around
Well-
you to support you, try to go out and find it the best way you can. But you're the only one that can hold yourself really accountable. And that's why I use, like, MyFitnessPal as an app.
Well, you had great
Yeah.
motivation, though. You almost died.
that
You
was
almost died.
Yeah, that
and
was
if you
true.
didn't die of a heart attack, you were almost going to die of cancer.
Right,
So
right.
you know more than the average overweight person who hasn't had to deal with the health problems yet.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a great motivation right there.
Yeah,
that is a
it
huge
is.
motivation.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that's why I really feel like the universe is telling me something. The universe is telling me, you went through this, and maybe you can help someone else not go through the same thing.
Well, that's
Yeah.
great. That's great. So when do you think you're going to start your new show? Right away?
I-
Sounds like you got a lot of information you'd like to get out
Yeah.
there right
yeah,
away.
Yeah. So I have what I would like to do on my show is have one guest, per show. And if anyone out there would like to come and be on my show with me, that'd be great. But I already have a couple guests picked out for the first shows. Basically we're going to discuss, what they give to society with their health, whether they're in business to do laser therapy or, whatever it is, to help somebody out. And then also the second part of the show will be food flipping, like let's just say a Little Debbie, what are those called? They're like roll-ups. What are those
Swiss
called?
rolls.
Oh, Swiss rolls.
Man, I love those Swiss rolls. But when you turn over the box, you look and you see like
Garbage.
15
Oh,
ingredients, right?
yeah.
Garbage.
It's bad.
Huge, and the carbs are like 40 carbs for like 2 of those little rolls. Well, I want to make those, but I want to make them healthy, and you can have these items. It's just all about the food prep and knowing how to do it the right way. So it is accessible to you. You just have to know how to do it and have to be willing to do it for
You
yourself.
want to learn
Yeah.
and want to learn how to do it.
Right.
Wow, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jamie Kinnison.
Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you, guys.
I hope you had a
Yeah.
great time. We did.
I did. I feel like there's so much more I could say, but,
All right.
It's a good start.
It is a good start. Thank you so much for coming in.
all right.
And we're going to end with your song.
Well,
That, kinda
but-
represents
But
you.
I really,
Oh.
I came prepared for something else though, because
Oh.
like I said, I am a fan of your show.
Okay.
So
Oh,
what do you
the
usually
joke.
do?
Joke.
See, I had to remind
Jamie
you guys
Kinnison,
of
can
your
you?
joke.
Okay, so we always do a joke at the end of the show.
Yes.
So can you hit us
Better
up on
be
that
good.
joke? Yeah, because if not,
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
I did my.
You ready?
I'm a researcher, as I've said about 5,000 times on this show today, right? So, I just got hit in the head with a can of soda.
You did?
I did. And I was lucky it was a soft drink.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Nice, nice. So
That's
pretty good.
That's awesome. So
Yes.
thanks for coming in. We really
Thanks, guys.
appreciate it, and the audience will appreciate it. So hit us up
Yes.
with that song.
Oh.
There.
Girl is on fire.
Thanks, Jamie Kinnison, for
Thank you.
dropping in.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.